Welcome back. Indeed, in a flash, we're back and starting off another full week. This one on the third day of October, the first day of reporting for the month of October for us. It's also the first day of forest fire hazard season. I'll remind you about that in just a few moments. We are starting off, however, sadly and tragically this month and this week discussing the loss of a McGoffin County life related to an automobile accident over the course of the weekend yesterday. And in fact, several vehicle crashes have taken place over the course of the weekend and today. That certainly, sadly, the most serious. But we'll take you to the scene, try to find out exactly what authorities are thinking happened that took the McGoffin County woman's life, and we'll try to have an update on the two other victims, including her husband and we believe grandchild. But as I said, several other crashes this morning, this afternoon. I'll also be going back to indictments that we couldn't air last week as authorities were attempting to serve an indictment warrant on two individuals indicted on robbery in the first degree. They've apprehended one. We can pass along to you their identity and the identity of the other suspect tonight. Football scores, seeing who's faring how well as we're starting to, on the downhill side of the season, and some other news and information. And in fact, some headlines won't even make it onto the program for time concerns this evening. Meth-related arrests over the course of the weekend, 3 arrests and 1 traffic stop. Also, I think we'll have some video possibly from the scene of that accident involving a vehicle versus a utility pole this afternoon. If not, we'll have that for tomorrow and some other information in the news that we're already working on beginning tomorrow. But for tonight, a few things on tap. One of those will be a little bit more detail on a beautiful, beautiful weather forecast that will have us pretty much at 80 for several days throughout the forecast period, and really no rain in sight. We've got some fog and some clouds, but other than that, just sunny skies and temperatures ranging. Daytime highs right now anywhere from 80 down to about 71 possibly for daytime highs. That will be on Saturday, 71. So indeed a really nice fall and late summer-like forecast for you. Just beautiful any way you want to sum it up, and we will do a better job of summing it up in just a few moments. Going on to headlines tonight, we now know the identity of 2 little brothers who were killed in a fatal fire in Knott County late last week. When I spoke to you Friday, all we knew at that time is that 2 young boys died, and that I believe it was the father and stepmother and another small child made it out of the home. We can confirm tonight that state police are still investigating the exact cause of the fire. It was presumed to have been electrical in nature last Friday, but we knew it was 5:30 Friday morning when firemen got the call. We also can confirm that while 2 adults and a child did escape the blaze, 4-year-old twins Marcus Caden Alexander Waddles and Jonathan Braxton Gage Waddles were both pronounced dead at the scene after they could not be freed from the burning home. Burning laws in effect as of Saturday, October the 1st, and the Kentucky Division of Forestry, as they're always doing this time of year, and actually a couple of times throughout the year, but now they're gearing up for another what could be active wildfire season, as we are now officially in forest fire hazard season. So that means, as always, no open burning anywhere within 150 feet of any woodland or brushland area between 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening, because that's usually when the humidity and wind conditions are most favorable for the spread of fires. And that's up until December the 15th. About 1,500 wildfires happen every year in Kentucky. That's on average, and the majority of those are the result of arson. You can, of course, always report arson by doing so. Calling the hotline, we'll start posting that very, very soon, and you can do so anonymously as well. Well, I have the terrible duty of reporting several crashes, which is not all that unusual tonight. However, we also tragically have to bring you details on one that proved to be fatal over the course of the weekend. A few close calls for some local residents, but one died as a result of being thrown from her pickup truck yesterday afternoon. This was a Saturday afternoon crash on 460 West. The vehicle traveling in the direction of Sagersville and possibly stopped from going over the embankment by steel pilings, which were driven to secure the roadway and the embankment underneath. A female driver, we're told, and at least 2 small children were in the passenger car when the driver lost control of the vehicle, and as you can see in this clip here, the vehicle caught just on some of those steel pilings and kept it possibly from careening on over the embankment. We're told that all occupants of the vehicle, which were wearing seatbelts, were out of the vehicle upon arrival of emergency personnel and suffered no injuries. Another local man escaped serious or life-threatening injuries but was injured after a rollover crash early this morning. It also happened on 460 West near the Elk Creek BP. Our friend Nathan Arnott of Turning Ground, also of the West Liberty Veterinary Clinic, we believe on his way to work this morning, the small Toyota pickup truck in which he was traveling veered off of 460, overturning numerous times, landing, I believe, facing in the opposite direction of his original travel. He was, I believe, out of the vehicle upon arrival of emergency personnel and did suffer some injuries, but none of which, fortunately, were life-threatening. No other vehicles were involved. No other individuals were in the truck with Arnott. The most serious crash was a deadly crash. It happened yesterday on Route 114 in the afternoon as a couple and a small child were returning, we believe, from the Floyd County area when the driver lost control of his truck going up the Ivington Hill. The crash was a single-car collision. Upon arrival, emergency personnel and others, there were 2 adults that had been ejected from a small pickup truck, and 2 passers-by, one being a doctor, were already trying life-saving techniques on the female, which was thrown out.
The accident happened a little after 2 o'clock on Route 114 on top of Ivington Hill. On my arrival, I noticed 2 subjects over on the ditch line, you might say, working with a female. And for my arrival, dispatch had notified that they were doing CPR in progress. So when I got out and went over, they were doing attempting to do CPR. And so when I looked at the female and observed the trauma to the head and some other issues, I recommended we stopped because there was nothing there, basically vital signs to work with. Come to find out, one of them was a doctor and the other was an EMT paramedical. So they agreed, and I told the doctor, I said, I don't want to step in on you, you're a doctor. He said, that's okay. He said, I'm glad to see you come. He said, I thought we didn't have anything, but you just confirmed it. Then we turned our attention to the male. During the evaluation, they didn't know what had happened, what caused the wreck, what day it was, so he was showing some signs of closed head injury, and so we mobilized him on the spot. And then also we had an 11-year-old granddaughter that had EMTs that were working with her.
And after consulting between paramedics with TranStar and the McGoffin County Rescue Squad, it was decided that the small child who had suffered arm, some facial and other injuries, as well as the unknown status of her seatbelt, as she could not tell authorities as to exactly what happened during the crash, they decided to take her to the Pikeville Medical Center via helicopter as well. The Pikeville Medical Center, a level 2 trauma center. In transporting both accident victims to the facility, Air Evac Unit 118, which is stationed at the ARH Medical Center in Morgan County, arrived on scene, as did moments later Air Evac Unit 116, which is stationed in Martin County. Both landed in the middle of Route 114 in an established landing zone only feet from the accident site. And within moments after, a hot landing zone was utilized, meaning that neither of the helicopters were shut down. Both victims were airlifted to the Pikeville Medical Center. As for the official release, which we can share with you at this hour, McGoffin County Coroner Mark Jenkins, while on scene, did pronounce 53-year-old Leah Roark dead at the scene after being ejected from her small pickup truck. Her husband, Ellis Roark, who was driving the pickup, as you just heard, was airlifted to the Pikeville Medical Center, as was a small 11-year-old child believed to be their granddaughter. The state police tell us that evidence at the scene indicates that Leah Roark was not wearing her seatbelt at the time of the collision. It's also believed that that is the case with Ellis Roark. It's also believed that there was a strong possibility that the small child was wearing her seatbelt after further investigation. And as for the cause of the crash, preliminary information was limited while I was on scene, but authorities could see skid marks where it appeared as though Mr. Roark had dropped off of the right shoulder of the road, and then upon re-entering the roadway, he may have overcorrected the pickup truck, causing it to go into a skid across both directions of traffic, crashing into the rock hillside on the opposite side of 114, where he and his wife were both ejected. The ongoing investigation is being conducted by Post 9 Accident Reconstructionist Trooper Jonathan Dixon. Also responding to the scene were members of the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department, the Sayersville Fire Department, the McGoffin County Rescue Squad, TranStar Ambulance Service, and possibly other members of local volunteer organizations. We'll have any funeral service arrangements that have been made for Miss Roark in just a few moments. For now, I'll be right back.
For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract, with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications.
On Friday's program, I brought you as much information as I could about indictments returned last Thursday by a sitting Magoffin County grand jury. Most all that I reported on, not all, but most all last week had to deal with some sort of charge of sexual abuse. Tonight, however, it's robbery in the first degree after two young men, one who was a juvenile at the time, have been officially indicted for robbing the J&J General Store on Route 7. Two men were indicted, one captured, also the same one that was seen on this security surveillance video, captured by equipment at the South Magoffin Volunteer Fire Department just moments before and seconds after an armed robbery that took place at the J&J General Store back on the 17th day of June of this year. We reported to you, of course, on the day of the robbery, and since then, the most recent development are the indictments returned just last week. We held these indictments pending the arrest of at least one of the individuals, and Magoffin County Sheriff Carson Montgomery confirmed to me earlier today that over the course of the weekend, they did take into custody Stephen Howard. Howard was only a few weeks away from turning 18 at the time of the theft. He is since an adult and was lodged in the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center on an official charge of robbery in the first degree. Authorities have the surveillance footage. They also have, of course, accounts by John Montgomery, who was inside his store and at the counter when Howard came in brandishing a gun, demanding money. When Howard entered the J&J General Store, there was already someone at the counter, and that someone, too, was indicted, believed to have been an accomplice. Authorities allege that Kennedy Logan Chaffins was standing at the counter paying for some merchandise in small coins when Howard came in behind him just moments later, conducting the holdup of the store. The Sheriff's Department, beginning their investigation immediately, had early suspected that Chaffins was an accomplice. He has been indicted by the Magoffin County grand jury. He has, as of airtime, has not been apprehended. As for Howard, he was taken into custody at his Floyd County residence. Sheriff Montgomery says that over the course of the weekend, his deputies, assisted by a trooper, went to that Floyd County residence, and just as they were approaching the door, Howard, unbeknownst to him, that there were officers standing on his property, rounded the corner of the residence and was surprised by the police officers who were standing before him. He was taken into custody without incident, lodged in the Big Sandy Jail once again on a count of robbery in the first degree. As for Chaffins, who is still being sought by authorities, he is 19 years of age and has a Martin address. Well, I've got a beautiful forecast for you in just a few moments. I've got some events that will go quite well with just such a call weather-wise. We'll go ahead and pick that up now with tonight's Magoffin Farm Bureau Community Calendar. I've got a couple of real tasty ways to help support some great folks later on in the week in the form of a couple of fish fries. That's right, get your fill on Thursday and Friday of this week. We'll start off Thursday with a fish fry dinner at the South Magoffin Fire Department. It is this Thursday, 6 o'clock. It's $6. That's eat in or carry out a wonderful fish dinner with all the fixings at the South Magoffin Fire Department this Thursday evening starting at 6. And this is what our friends at the Burning Fork Communities Church, specifically the Ladies Fellowship Group, are calling a heavenly fish fry. They've got a couple of folks, being Delmer and Yvonne Cross from London, Kentucky, arriving with a big fish dinner operation. They bring catfish, they fry it, and it is described as heavenly. They've also got hush puppies, fries, coleslaw, a delightful dessert, all to be served, dine in or carry out. It's $10 per plate, with all the funds being used to assist the Ladies and Men's Fellowship Ministry outreach events. They promise it's going to be a super tasty, if not heavenly, fish fry. That is Friday, 4 to 7 at Burning Fork Community Church on 114.
Now, this event is going to be a big one, a lot of fun for everyone. It's not this weekend, but next. I'll tell you about it now. Next week, we'll focus on it and maybe go up and visit a few folks who are getting ready. But they're dubbing it the Triple R Weekend. It's the Ronald Reed Ride, which has been set up by Mr. Ronald Reed as well as the Royalton Trailtown Committee. It's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday beginning on the 14th. They've got 2 days of rides, food, all kinds of food. Turning Ground performing one evening, Terry Miller and the Bridge performing the next. It's just $20 to camp for the whole weekend. You can contact anyone with the Royalton Trailtown Committee. I'll give you some contact information and much more a little bit later. Of course, all you got to do is just show up. It's just $5 at the gate, I think, to get in for all the entertainment each night, and it's just a wonderful weekend they've got planned. Just put it out there now so you can kind of make some plans for it. I'll get you a little more excited about it when we have more time later on this week and certainly next. And from our friends at United Way, the 20th annual United Way Golf Scramble is coming up the 17th, 2 weeks from today at Stonecrest. Wanted to pass this out there a little early, too. It is $360 per team. Registration starts at 9 that morning. Play will start at 10. This has been it's been ongoing now for 20 years. You know the event. It's a huge golf scramble. Locally, I know it supports the McGoffin County Rescue Squad, the McGoffin County Senior Citizen Center, maybe another organization or two. Nevertheless, the golf scramble, hosted by the United Way, Monday the 17th, at Stonecrest. Call 886-4480 to register, or you can find them on Facebook at UW Eastern Kentucky. That's for United Way Eastern KY. And if you've got calendar announcements, birthdays and anniversaries too, tell me, we'll tell everyone about them. All you have to do is get them here any way you can. And remember, the show is always on our website, that is, at yournewstoday.com. Turning to funeral service announcements this evening, services were held earlier today for 67-year-old Carl Bub Cole of Sagersville, who passed away on the 30th, this past Friday. He is survived by his daughters, Carolyn Griffin and Tricia Kennedy. Burial was at the Warney Bailey Cemetery at Carver. Once again, laid to rest earlier today was 67-year-old Carl Bub Cole of Sagersville. And arrangements are being made at this hour in honor of 53-year-old Leah Roark of Sagersville, who passed away yesterday. Arrangements being made at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. They will be announced just as soon as they have been completed on their website at McGoffinCountyFuneralHome.com.
From our friends at U-Pike, it's homecoming, as well as the official installation of their president.
The university will formally install Burton J. Webb, Ph.D., as their 21st president on Friday the 14th in the Booth Auditorium. As the University of Pikeville marks its 127th year, you're asked to join them on the Hill for Homecoming Week, October the 10th through the 15th. And this year's celebration is going to be historic as they formally install their 21st president on Friday the 14th. And the campus is hosting several events with a focus on service, beginning with the President's Prayer Breakfast Tuesday the 11th. And the list goes on. The campus and community will be coming together on Friday the 13th for a grand night of singing, celebrating Broadway's biggest hits with Kelsey Webb at 7 in the Booth Auditorium. That's free. Saturday, they're going to have a 5K run, walk, and a whole lot of other events. Homecoming week gets underway as U-Pike women's volleyball hosts Johnson University on Monday the 10th. And U-Pike alumnus Jordan Maynard, class of 2013, will be the speaker for the homecoming chapel service on Tuesday the 11th.
Friday Night Lights are over and done with for last week as we look ahead to this coming Friday night, which will be Week 8, Week 7 for some schools respectively. Let's take a look back as to see how well some teams fared over the course of this past Friday night, with 2 area teams, 2 Johnson County teams, narrowing that down to a finite number, still undefeated at 6-7-0.
It's 6-0 for the Eagles of Johnson Central after a 57-7 win over district rival, if you will, East Carter, 57-7, 6-0. Now that's the second district game. They beat Boyd County the week before, 56-0. That sets them up for their last 3 district games, all in a row, starting this Friday night when they host Greenup County. They are 2-0 in the district, looking to go 3 more district wins, and then it's Belfry wrapping up their regular season. But right now, the Eagles and Coach Matney sitting at 6-0, once again hosting Greenup County this Friday night. They've also amassed 264 points, giving up only 54 this season. They came up short, that being Lawrence County. I have the Tigers. That is obviously a misprint. The Bulldogs coming up short 16-43 over Raceland. They haven't played a district matchup as of yet, but they've got 3 staring at them in a row. Belfry is this coming Friday night at 7:30. They will be hosting Belfry, hosting Pike Central in district matchup number 2 the following week, and then Sheldon Clark in the 3rd and final district game. Right now, Lawrence County and the Bulldogs, not the Tigers, 43-16 over the Tigers, puts them at 2 or under the Tigers, puts them at 2-4 on the season. Here in Montgomery County, another typo. It looks as though it's Monday. Give me a little bit of slack. I'll get to that part in a second. A 36-48 loss in district play against Knott Central. Drops the Hornets to 2-5, not 45. Didn't delete the 4. It does also put them at 1-3. They've picked up 1 district win, but they've lost 3 in the district. That leaves them as well with 1 district matchup left. That will be Breathitt County after they have an off week. They're off this Friday. It's their off week. They'll take on Breathitt County on the road at home in their last district game of the season. That is a need win. The Hornets at 2-5 with 3 games left. And as I said, we've actually got 2 district games. My bad. Breathitt and Powell County, both district games, 2 of the last 3 on the regular season record. For Morgan County and the Cougars and Coach Turner, a loss, 18-46 against Powell County. That was a district loss, their second district loss, 0-2 in the district. They are 1-5 on the season with their first game out of the gate against Betsy Lane, a big win, 46-0, but they've had a hard run after that, losing now 5 in a row with 4 games left, 2 of the 4 being district matchups. They're at Knott Central for a district game this Friday and hosting Estill County in a district matchup the Friday of the 14th. And as we finish in grand style for scores tonight as we turn to Paintsville. 7-0 after a 50-12 win over Pike Central. They haven't got any district play in yet. Only 3 teams in the district. They've got Fairview and Raceland. Fairview this Friday night at home. Raceland the 21st, as that will be their off week on the 14th, and that will be on the road. And then Shelby Valley winding up their regular season schedule. But 50-12, 7-0 for the Tigers. That puts them at 266 points, 165 loss, number 2 in Class 1A high school football. And that will put us looking at a beautiful Licking Valley RECC forecast. The clouds are keeping us in check today. 74 right now if you're catching the early show. We should drop down to close to the mid-50 range. Partly cloudy skies. Nothing more than a light east wind tonight. We will see some areas of some dense fog in the morning for about an hour or so after 7. Otherwise, mostly sunny on your Tuesday and close to 80 degrees. Nice and warm and no complaints, really. 57 for tomorrow night's low. That will be under partly cloudy skies. Still pushing 80, maybe even a tick or 2 above midweek. 80 and 53 Wednesday, sunny and mostly clear. And we'll hold on to that pattern for a few days after all of this week. In fact, Thursday, 79, sunny and clear. Friday, 79, sunny and clear. Lows in the low 50s. For your weekend, well, that's when we've got to change about. Yeah, we've got a front coming. That will certainly knock temperatures in the head a bit. Mostly sunny and 71 on your Saturday. No rain out of this change up in this system. But by Sunday, the latter half of your weekend, we'll go from the upper 70s on Friday to the low 60s for your Sunday. And Monday, which is Columbus Day, and a lot of students and staff will have off right now. A week from today, I've got sunny and 67, so a little bit of a mixed bag there temperature-wise, certainly comparatively for the work week and your weekend, and the latter half of your weekend looking at the low to possibly mid-60s.
Before I close tonight, I do want to give you one update. A single vehicle crash did happen earlier this afternoon on 114. It did result in only minor injuries to the driver of the pickup truck. However, that pickup truck completely cut a utility pole in half. Authorities were closing down the highway, routing traffic through Burning Fork at the Ivington Trestle in it. Route 460, the pole left lines of fiber optic wire all over the roadway. It was causing quite a bit of a traffic issue. They were AT&T lines, we do believe, at this time. If you're in that area, experience any problems with your internet, well, that could be obviously the reason, and it could be while also traffic is being rerouted and could be an issue. We have some video, have a camera out. We'll have some video later in our report tomorrow, should it be anything more serious. And I've got other news for tomorrow, including some more meth arrests, one of which was a Montgomery County man who's been charged with meth just a few weeks ago in another case. But we've got that and other news already in the works. So enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. Thanks for being a part of the show.